Hi, everybody. I'm Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based right outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia. Our clients, however, are all throughout the United States. So if you've never joined me before, just as way of background, I'm based outside of Washington, D.C. I practice immigration law only. However, my team handles all sorts of immigration cases. We handle business immigration cases where companies are sponsoring individuals. We help people with humanitarian cases like asylum, VAWA self-petitions. And we also handle family-based applications where you're trying to bring in your wife or your husband or your children and other family members as well. Okay, give us a call if we can help you with a consultation. I'm going to answer a couple of questions, common questions that come up today, but feel free to put your question into the chat and I will answer it. Just as a heads up, everything that we talk about here is being recorded, number one, but there are multiple users on multiple platforms looking at us and joining us today, so nothing is confidential. So if you want to have an attorney-client confidential conversation where we can review your case and go over your immigration options and the steps and processes involved, call us for a consultation. Okay, we're at 703-348-1663. Great. It's a pleasure to have so many people join us today. It's very exciting. Hi, Zarabu. Nice to see you. And go ahead and drop a line and say hi. Hi, Louise. Hi, Big John. Go ahead and drop a line and say hello. And let me know where you're from. Okay, let me know where you're from. All right, great. So let me get into our question for the day because I do only have a few minutes today. So our question for the day was is how can I go from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card when my spouse won't help? Is it possible? Is it possible to go from a 2-year green card to your 10-year green card when your spouse won't help? Yes, it is possible, right? So many people get married to either a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. They come here or they're already here, they're out of status, they fall in love and they get married and their spouse applies for their green card. But if you've been married less than 2 years, you have to, at the end of that 2-year period, show that you are not married just for immigration purposes. What you're required to do is to show that the marriage is real. It's not just for immigration purposes, and you're still living together. It's still working out, right? That's the normal green card process. But we all know that all marriages are not roses, right? There are problems in a marriage that it might not be working out. You may even be getting divorced or be separated. Right? So what happens to your status at that point? In many situations, the U.S. citizen or a green card holder spouse will be holding this over the other person's head as a way to control them. Okay, so we have many clients in this situation, and the good news is that you can apply for that green card to go from that 2-year to that permanent 10-year green card. You can apply for that on your own, and you do not need your spouse's help. If there's some problems in the marriage, you might be able to still qualify to receive that 10-year green card. So we help many clients in this situation. We go to the interview with you. We help you with the application. We kind of walk you through the whole process. Call us for a consultation if you found yourself in the situation where your spouse is not willing to help you get to that 10-year green card. Okay, we're at 703-348-1663. Again, that's 703-348-1663. Hi, Beauty. I like your name, Beauty Subakanya. I like Mukawemba. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Hi, Caitlin. Thanks for joining. Hi, Big Gray Man. That's an interesting one. Thanks for joining. Well, great. Feel free to go ahead and put your questions in. Hi, Base. Hi, Chica. Hi, Adirant. Hi, Lovely. Nice to see you guys here. So go ahead and put your questions in, and I can answer them the best as I can. Just again, as a reminder, this is just informational, and I would need to have a consultation with you to be able to provide that confidential legal advice that will be helpful to you. Okay. All right. So here's another question that came up today in my consultation. Who can I sponsor, right? Someone called me today and they said, can I sponsor my cousin? Can I sponsor my cousin? No, you cannot sponsor your cousin. So the only people you can sponsor as a green card holder, for example, actually, let me go back. The only two people or two categories or statuses, I guess, of people that can sponsor anyone are US citizens and green card holders. Okay? Green card holders can only sponsor their spouse, their children, their unmarried children. So a green card holder can only sponsor their spouse and their unmarried children. All right, you do not get to sponsor parents. You cannot sponsor brothers and sisters. So green card holders can't even sponsor children that are married. So there's a very limited category of folks that can qualify to be sponsored by a green card holder. Okay? U.S. citizens, who can U.S. citizens sponsor, right? That's a question that comes up very often. Who can U.S. citizens sponsor? U.S. citizens can sponsor a greater number of people. U.S. citizens can sponsor a greater number of people. So U.S. citizens can sponsor their parents, they can sponsor their spouse, they can sponsor all children of whatever age, married or unmarried, and they can sponsor their brothers and sisters. So there's a whole breadth of categories that U.S. citizen can sponsor. Call us if you're looking for assistance in sponsoring family members. We're at 703-348-1663. I should upgrade to iPhone 13 Pro. Somebody saying, you know what? I just got my iPhone 12 and I would like it to work. So I'm sorry. I know it's looking a little fuzzy here. So sorry about that, guys. These are my friends on TikTok. Let me know if it's okay now. Okay? All right. Chindian, I think is it. I've been in the U.S. for 2 years. As of this week, I'm trying to find a way to work. Any suggestions? Yes. Yeah, I've been in the U.S. for 2 years and I've been trying to find a way to work. Do you have any suggestions? Well, there are different ways that you might qualify, right? But there's family-based, number one. You most likely do not qualify for family-based because you wouldn't be asking me this question, I'm thinking, right? Other ways could be employment-based, but it depends on whether or not you've been able to maintain status in the U.S. during this time or how long you've been out of status. So that's what's going to be crucial to whether or not you might be able to qualify for employment-based situations. Okay. Other options could be humanitarian options. So many times people don't even realize that they qualify for humanitarian options, but you might have had negative experiences at work. You might have been not paid. You might have been forced to work. You might have witnessed a crime. There's lots of different ways you can qualify for a green card. They may not apply to you, but maybe they do. So I would say if you're looking for work authorization, give us a call. We'll have a consultation. We'll talk to you. We'll ask questions to see if you do qualify and what the timeline is, what the process is to get your work authorization and maybe even your green card. Okay, call us at 703-348-1663. All right. Kalai says, hi, how are you doing? Nice to see you, Kalai. Beauty had a question here on Facebook. She's saying, how do you help if a couple divorces before the green card interview? Okay, that happens too, right? That happens pretty often too. You wouldn't think that it does, but it's true. It does happen. So, again, if, for example, you already have a green card pending, or you have a 2-year green card and you're looking to remove those conditions to go to that 10-year green card, that's kind of how we started talking today. But let's say you're married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and they filed for your green card, you thought everything was going great, and then there becomes all these problems in the marriage and the couple, and you're divorcing from your spouse. What do you do? So some people are in this situation. So you might still be eligible to apply for a green card on your own in this situation. It depends on the nature of your marriage. It depends on whether there were problems in your marriage that could result to abuse. So many people think, okay, she said abuse, there was no physical abuse, right? Absolutely. Many marriages do not have physical abuse. But sometimes when there's problems in the marriage, it might amount to what qualifies as emotional abuse, verbal abuse. So is your spouse, controlling financially, looking at your social media, asking for your social media passwords, checking your location on their cell phone and then berating you about where you've been, forcing you to do all the work at home, or putting you down for not having status, making fun of your accent. There's so many ways, so many different things that might qualify you. So the best thing to do if you're in a situation where your green card interview is coming up, you might be able to continue with that application on your own without your spouse. If you should have a consultation to see if you qualify to do the self-petition. Okay, I would say call us for a consultation. We're at 703-348-1663. All right. Hamza is saying, if my uncle is a U.S. citizen, can he sponsor me even though we do not have a blood relation? So you can't sponsor nieces and nephews. So again, we just talked about U.S. citizens can only sponsor parents. They can sponsor brothers and sisters. They can sponsor their spouse and then all of their children, right? No matter if you have a blood relation with your uncle or not, uncles can't sponsor nieces and nephews. Okay, so you can come maybe as on a tourist visa if you're here, if you're outside of the US, or maybe you can enroll as a student. Maybe you might qualify for like an H-1B or a work visa. So there are different ways, but in terms of family-based sponsorship, that unfortunately will not be an option. Okay, if you want to talk more about what you're eligible for, we do these consultations with folks just so they can get an idea of how they might qualify. Okay, you can call me. My name is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based outside of DC, but our clients are all throughout the United States. All right, we're at 703-348-1663. Chindan is saying, perfect, thank you. What's the best time to call? The best time to call is really anytime because you can call and leave a message. We are open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so we're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. But no matter when you call, if you leave a message or even if you hang up, don't do that. But if you leave a message, we will definitely give you a call back the next business day. So we open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time, and we will always call back, and we will even return our missed calls. Okay, but just to make sure we get your message, we definitely give you a call next business day. And we are at 6 p.m. Eastern now. We're closed right now, but feel free to call and leave a voicemail, and I will, and my assistant Ara will get back to you. All right, and hope to chat with you. We can get you on my calendar and hopefully have a consultation soon to go through how you might qualify. All right, again, that's 703-348-1663. Hamza is saying, I have my H1. When do I become eligible to apply for a green card? And do you guys help with that? Yes, so that's actually a really good question. Again, I'm going to say it to the people that might have missed it. So I have my H1, so it probably is H1B. When do I become eligible to apply for a green card? And do you guys help with that? So number one, we handle all types of immigration cases, employment, family-based, humanitarian, so we can definitely help you with any type of immigration case. Two, you do not need to be on an H1B for any certain amount of time to be eligible for a green card. Right? Your employer can start that green card process for you at any point. At any point. So for an employment-based green card that the company is sponsoring you for, the most common type, it can be started at any time. So if your employer is willing to do that for you, feel free to call us. We would want to talk to the employer too to kind of explain the process if they've not done this before. Or if you want to learn the process yourself, I'd be happy to chat with you on that as well. Okay, again, if you want to reach me, if you just joined me, my name is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney, and our phone number for our firm is 703-348-1663. Gary says, thank you for helping people. That's very sweet, Gary. It's my pleasure. I'm glad to be of help to you, and I'm glad to be able to clarify some of these really frustrating immigration questions. All right. Mrs. H10 is saying, I have a work permit in Canada, and I have a 10-year visitor visa. Can I apply for a job in the U.S.? No. So you have to have work authorization in the U.S. to be able to apply for a job in the U.S., to be able to work legally in the U.S. So there are ways to qualify. So in terms of how do I get work authorization in the US, that question comes up so often. How do I get work authorization in the US? You have to have some other application pending to be able to get work authorization. Usually this is the case, right? Work authorization is not a standalone application. It's usually based off of another application or another status, right? So you can't just apply for work authorization. You would either apply for a green card, and while it's pending, you would get work authorization, or you would receive work authorization based on different visa types that allow you to apply for work authorization as soon as you get to a certain point in the process. So there are different ways to do that. Call us if you want to get more clarification. Okay, 703-348-1663. All right. Hi, Nafis. All right, great. I hope that she's saying, if I have a clear plan LPN exam, will I get work authorization? You need to have some other kind of application pending to get work authorization. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was nice. It was nice to see you all here. I hope to see you again very soon. I'll be going live again soon. So if you don't already like us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok, make sure that you do so you can be notified when I go live. All right. It's great to see you all. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.